Thank you all for being here. I'm Sheriff Lopez with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. Today we're here because we just arrested Rachel Edwards for having a sexual relationship with a minor who was serving a sentence for a juvenile crime at a juvenile facility. It doesn't cease to amaze me the kind of shocking things that have been happening lately in our society, and especially when something like this happens at a detention facility. Our public trust is just damaged even more. I'll tell you, if you work in any type of environment like this, you need to just resign or quit if you're going to be doing stupid things like this. It doesn't only scar this child for life, but it also scars law enforcement. It doesn't matter in what capacity you're in. We need to start changing the way we conduct ourselves in society, especially here in Florida, in Osceola County. You will be arrested and you will go to jail. She was very unhappy about being on camera. She was crying and concerned, but she should have thought about that before she went ahead and committed these acts with the victim. And she was a security guard at the facility and primarily working on the night shift. The facility's name is the Kissimmee Youth Academy. It's part of the Department of Juvenile Justice. Ms. Edwards, in her capacity as a night guard, initiated a sexual relationship with the minor, a detainee. Again, he was a minor. The juvenile called his mother and told her somewhat of what was going on. She contacted the facility and we started an investigation. Unfortunately, at first, the juvenile and the suspect both denied anything was happening. They were very uncooperative. And this is typical, a victim's incarcerated, that they feel alone. There's someone there that either is giving them the attention that they might be missing for whatever reasons. And sometimes these things go in this direction, but it's sad. But I'm glad that it finally came out and he came forward, and this suspect no longer has control over this victim. The suspect is about 33 years of age. The juvenile is only 17. Recently, the juvenile did decide to come forward, like I said, and talk about what happened, and I'm proud that he did. He said 3 weeks after the juvenile arrived at the center, he got a letter from the guard asking his age. They started writing letters back and forth, and at one point the juvenile was moved from one cell to another. The cell he was moved to did not have a camera, and that's where all the sexual misconduct, to our knowledge at this point, took place. When interviewed by our detectives, Ms. Edwards gave a full confession for having sex with the juvenile. She's been arrested for the following charges: 4 counts of unlawful sexual activity with a minor, 2 counts of lewd and lascivious touching of a minor. I'm going to say this in Spanish briefly. Where's our Spanish media? Here? Okay. And then we'll take some questions. Acabamos de arrestar a Rachel Edwards por tener una relación inapropiada con un menor de edad. El menor estaba encerrado en una cárcel juvenil y ella le hizo una amistad y empezó a tener unas relaciones sexuales con el niño. Él lo que tiene son 17 años, ella tiene 33. Ella trabajaba de guardia de seguridad de noche y empezaron a escribirse cartas y a comunicarse, y eventualmente se desarrolló una relación sexual. Por fin el muchacho vino, habló con sus padres nos llamaron a nosotros y iniciamos la investigación, y hoy la entrevistamos a ella y ella dio una confesión que sí había desarrollado una relación sexual con el menor, y el menor también habló que él estaba teniendo una relación sexual con ella. Todo pasó en una celda donde no había cámara. Alguien lo movió a esa celda, no se sabe todavía quién y por qué, y ahí es cuando tenían la relación inapropiada. Ella está arrestada y le van a dar 4 cargos de tener una relación sexual ilegal con un menor y 2 de actos lusivos con un menor. Por ahora, esos son los cargos que hay. I'll take some questions.
What background does she have prior to working as a security guard at this facility?
What do you mean by background?
What does she have any
A criminal?
and what she was doing prior to joining this facility?
Well, I don't have that information. As for a criminal background, she didn't have a criminal background. However, I think that her job was a contract type work through the Department of Juvenile Justice as a security company that do their third-party security.
And do you know, could you say why the juvenile was in the academy?
No, we're not going to release the information why he's incarcerated. He's a juvenile. We got to protect that. However, he is a juvenile, and this shouldn't have happened.
Sheriff, so you were saying that he was in a cell with no camera?
Well, he was initially they have cameraed areas, to my understanding. He was moved to a cell with no camera, where the sexual improper misconduct took place. Why he was moved there, that's all being looked into by the Department of Juvenile Justice. That's all relevant to this case. However, what we're focusing on, the actual sexual misconduct, the actual actions that took place between the adult and the juvenile. Now, if there are any changes that need to be made, as the juvenile justice does their investigation, hopefully they'll look at that and say this is a major, huge problem that needs to be looked into.
Sheriff, was that his cell?
The cell he was moved into, I don't know if it was a temporary cell, Hill cell. I just know that he was moved there, and that's where all the improper conduct took place.
And you said this, but how wrong is this? She was having sex with. I mean,
I'm with you. Like I said when I first started this, society has just taken a very odd direction in these past 15, 20 years. Social media brings a lot to light, and when these kind of things happen, especially, the way society and the communities see law enforcement all across America, we're already, like they say, bludgeoned enough with things that happen. But, like I've told people before, in the state of Florida, we're very fortunate. Our governor and our communities love us as law enforcement officers, and we're really fortunate. So when people come here and do that, we make sure that we wean them out quick and arrest them and give them all the charges we can so it doesn't happen again, and they never work in this type of capacity. She wasn't a law enforcement officer per se. She was contracted through third party, so that might be an issue also. Sometimes government entities cut corners to hire someone at a cheaper labor, and that could be an issue. I don't have all those details, but like I said, right now we're just focusing on her improper sexual relationship with this minor, and she's been arrested, and that's where we're at today.
Sheriff, could she have played a role in this juvenile being moved to a different cell?
Could have. Like I said, we're still looking into that. Like I said, basically from the investigation that has been unfolded, our main focus is going to be the improper sexual relationship. Anything from there, it would be internal investigations. Juvenile justice will look into these things on why people are moved, who made these moves, did she have the authority to make. There's a lot of unanswered questions, but what we do have is a full confession, and someone's in jail today for doing these things with a juvenile.
And how long was this going on?
Well, from my understanding, the juvenile was transported there around January, and she was relieved of her duties in February, and it was in a matter of a 2-week period where they approximately started their relationship.
How many of your deputies are being investigated over the target shooting reports?
That's in the state of Florida. You can ask Ms. Worrell for that. We're still waiting for that too.
Subpoenas have been issued though, correct?
Oh, that was what, a year ago? How long has that case been taken? Deb, you know? Yeah, it's been over a year. We issued subpoenas and everything.
Are you aware of any of your deputies manipulating documents?
No.
In terms of the lawsuit against yourself, because of apparent improper documents being filed in that case, what do you have to say?
I'm not even aware of that, ma'am. If they have an open investigation, then they need to continue to investigate. That's all right. They need to continue to investigate. That's something new to me. All I know is that we've turned all out to the state, and whatever they're doing on their end, I hope they wrap it up soon, because we need to return these guys back to full
Do you guys have
service.
any other questions related to this case now?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
So, Sheriff, just to get this straight, this is a guard in charge of this inmate.
Yes.
In charge of watching him.
Yes.
Instead, she's doing what?
An improper sexual relationship with this juvenile.
In a cell.
Yes, in a cell with no
And
cameras.
just to be clear, they were having sexual intercourse?
There was some counts of sexual intercourse, and there was some counts of oral and inappropriate touching. It was a full-blown relationship between the two.
What did he say?
He's a juvenile. He's protected, so we really can't give too much comment. He did open up to his parents, though. They're the ones that brought it to our attention. But she pretty much confessed. Didn't give any details on the why. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions. But like I said, whenever these kind of things happen, they need to be brought to light, and we bring these people to justice.
And this facility does what?
I'm sorry? It's a juvenile facility by the Juvenile Justice, and they house the juveniles there. It's right here off of Simpson Road. Do you have any Spanish questions?
Yes, please.
Dime.
Según las investigaciones, ¿cree usted que este sea un caso aislado o hay otras víctimas? Y en caso de que estén esas víctimas, ¿qué proceso deben seguir?
Por ahora es un caso aislado, y estamos también investigando eso a ver si hay otras víctimas, pero por ahora no ha surgido nada de eso.
En caso de que haya otras víctimas, ¿qué deben hacer ellos?
Que llamar al Osceola County Sheriff's Office, reportarlo para nosotros continuar esta investigación y darle los cargos apropiados.